Carolina on the ride. Carolina on the ride.
What's up, Panther Nation? Bill Mack here once again with the Panther Prowl. Glad you folks could join me today, as of course I am giving the Week 7 review of the Panthers versus the New Orleans Saints. Of course, this is a division wrap-up. The game just finished just a few minutes ago, so I'm going to give you my thoughts and the rundown of the scoring drives. And just get right into it. Of course, the Panthers were 3-3. The Saints were 3-2. This was a division game, important game for us. Of course, every division game is important, as the Panthers were in if a win would put them half a game behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for first in the NFC South. Now, on the first opening drive, Drew Brees, of course, efficient this whole game. It was 6 of 6, 37 yards. Kamara had four rushes for 24 yards, resulting in a 4-yard touchdown to Jared Cook, which put the game at 7-0. Bridgewater comes out. He's 3 of 5, 34 yards. Samuel, of course, had 2 of those catches. Samuel's had for 24 yards, and it ended up resulting in a 43-yard field goal for Joey Sly. So we go back and forth. The game was a teetering back and forth between the two. Brees, of course, was 4 of 5 for 47 yards, and Kamara had 43 rushing yards, which led Brees down to a 1-yard touchdown sneak, which put New Orleans on top again, 14-3. On Teddy's drive comes up. Teddy had a 75-yard TD pass to DJ Moore, which he had a great game. Can't stress that enough. And of course, that was on the Panthers' second drive. So then it was 14-10. Dante Jackson had a costly penalty that kept the drive going for the New Orleans Saints. However, Brian Burns had a strip sack. Marquise Haynes recovered it on the Tampa Bay. On the Saints' third drive, and of course, Teddy Bridgewater comes up. He goes 7 for 7, 62 yards, a 7-yard touchdown. Of course, again to DJ Moore. It was his second touchdown, coming on their fourth drive to put Carolina on top for the first time in the game, 17-14. Drew Brees, of course, comes back at the half with 1 minute and 37 seconds to go. He's 6 of 7, very efficient. Like I said, 71 yards, 4-yard touchdown pass to Deontay Harris with 2 seconds left in the game at the half. And they done this with like one excuse me, one timeout, and they didn't have any third downs on this whole drive. Basically, for the reason that the Panthers play a lot of zone. Excuse me. The Panthers were playing mostly zone, which is what they do. And Drew Brees was important, and that was important because Drew Brees didn't beat the Panthers downfield. It was just teams were receivers were just sitting in the pockets of that zone and catching passes all day long. And when you got Drew Brees that's efficient, and you have receivers that everything's on the same page with Drew, that's in for a long day. And that's all they kept doing was hitting the pockets. And that's what every team's going to do when the Panthers keep playing zone like they do. At halftime, Teddy Bridgewater was 11 of 13. He had 170 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like I said, DJ Moore had both of his touchdowns on both catches for 81 total yards. And Joey Sly was 1 of 1 with field goals. Drew Brees, his counterpart, was 18 of 22. He had 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. One was that quarterback sneak. Kamara was 7 rushes, 64 yards, and of course Marquise Callaway had 5 catches for 56 yards. Like I said, wasn't that bad of a game. It was 21-17 at the halftime. The needs were that the Panthers had to stop Brees, put more pressure on him, definitely try to shut down Kamara because he was going to go wild and crazy on him today if they didn't stop him, which I knew in my preview video would happen if they didn't do this. And what they needed to do, Carolina, again, for the second straight week, failed to have the running game. This hurt them a lot. They had like at one time, I think it was 11 plays, 16 yards rushing. The rushing game was not there. New Orleans shut that down. We start the second half. Russell Okung, of course, ends up 6 minutes into the half getting hurt. Calf injury. He's out. Did not come back rest of the game after he had just literally came back. So injuries to him. Carolina had to punt on their first drive of the second half. They only had 6 plays for 15 yards. Then the Panthers, which was a big hurtful thing and a problem of theirs the whole game, was third down conversions. They gave up 3 straight third down conversions. Of course, a offensive pass interference call negated a touchdown from Drew Brees, but it ended up the Panthers stopped it, and they basically gave up a 41-yard field goal. So better have 3 than to give up 7 is what I say. Of course, Teddy Bridgewater comes back. Like I said, Teddy was efficient in this game. He bounced back, had a really good game. Teddy was 4 of 4, 44 yards in this play. Samuels had a catch, ended up getting a 5-yard touchdown run, which basically tied the game at 24. The game was winding down. These were in the waning minutes of the game. So we see New Orleans ends up getting a 43-yard field goal from Lutz, putting them back on top 27-24. So it comes down to Carolina. Carolina's got to score. It's third down. They're right in range. Then they're trying to get more yardage or trying to get a first down. But unfortunately, Michael Davenport from New Orleans Saints comes in basically and gets a sack on Bridgewater, puts him out of range, 8-yard loss, puts them out of range. However, the Panthers instead, with time running short, their last chance, they end up sending Joey Sly up there to attempt a 65-yard field goal. Now, before the game, Sly was kicking them from 60, so I figured, why not? It's our best chance with the way it was, because it was like 4th and 19, 4th and 20. They didn't really have much choice, so they ended up basically missing it by a yard. That was heartbreaking, Panther Nation. That was after a good game. That was heartbreaker that he missed it by 1, but the Panthers giving up that only sack at the end when they didn't need to really hurt them in field goal range, because even if they had been able to get a incompletion, it would have been at least 56 and a much better chance of Sly hitting that one than the 65 he attempted. So, winding the game down, the Panthers were, Teddy Bridgewater was 23 of 28, 254 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. Of course, like I said, Davis, only 12 yards on 7 carries. Moore was the big star. He 4 catches, 93 yards, 2 touchdowns. And, of course, Samuels had a 1-yard or a 5-yard rushing touchdown to add to his credit for the year. On the defense, Shaq Thompson, of course, led the defense, 13 tackles. Spider-Man Brian Burns, of course, had 7 tackles. The strip sack that he had. Marquez Haynes had a fumble recovery. Drew Brees on the other side was 29 of 36. He had 287 yards, 2 touchdowns. Of course, that rushing 1-yard touchdown, which was a quarterback sneak. Kamara ended up having 14 of 83 yards. Michael Callaway, of course, was their star for the day, since you had Emmanuel Sanders out and you had Michael Thomas out. He had, of course, 8 catches for 75 yards. Kamara had 8 catches for 65 yards. And so don't forget Deontay Harris and Bo Jared Cook each had touchdowns to their credit. Lattimore, of course, on defense for the Saints had 6 tackles, and of course, Michael Davenport had 2 tackles. One of those was that tackle for loss sack at the end of the game, which really hurt Carolina and put them really out of the game in general. Sly, of course, for the Panthers was 1 of 2 field goals, and Lutz was 2 for 2. Keys to the game. New Orleans offense was able to convert 12 of 14 third downs. Really hurt a lot. Really needed to shut that down. That was one of the things I said in my preview video that needed to be done to stop this. And Kamara, of course, stopping him didn't happen. He got 148 scrimmage yards on the Panthers this week. And Carolina, of course, they had no rushing game at all. The offensive line was good, but not in creating open lanes for Mike Davis, and neither was and New Orleans was able to open it up, and they just weren't able to do it. Now the offensive line held pressure for Teddy, but we're not able to create lines. So we're on the Panther Nation. We're on a short week this week. we play Atlanta on Thursday night. I will definitely try to get my preview video out before that game, so maybe a couple days between this video and then that video. But I hope you do check that out. Of course, before I close it out, Panther Nation, if you like this video, subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up. Share this video. Drop comments in the comment box, and I will definitely get back to them as soon as I can. So, Panther Nation, for Bill, this is Bill Mack for the Panther Prowl, and all I can say is keep pounding.